We'll be calling you a radical, so this is important. So, why did Trump not do this while he was running? So, you know, now stay with me, all you Trumpers, and you Obamacans. Obama was the peace activist. Not just in words, he had voted as a junior senator. Only 6 senators voted against both wars. Obama voted, you know, I'm an old peace activist. It's irony, I'm standing when it was announced that Trump had been defeated in front of the White House. I was with Miss Benjamin. I don't like calling her. She changed her name to the Greek goddess. She's not a Greek goddess. You know, son of Cassandra. So, anyway, which I love her work. She's fantastic. But I'm with her when they announce it. Now, stay with me. This is important. Trump, I said right here, I got home after the election, after the 2016 election, I says, Trump, you maybe got elected, but if you don't mention Fukushima, you will lose at your own peril. You know, I'm a pro-tariff guy. I've always been a pro-tariff guy. I'm a protectionist, big time. I taught here when we used to teach ethics, the #1 school of business in the United States, via the testing, who beat Wharton. Wharton was our sister school. We used to go back and forth. Yeah, that's Trump's. And by the way, I didn't pay someone to take my entrance exams. So when I graduated here and I was a student professor here, we were #1. #1, we used to teach ethics. Now they're dead last. They go, how do you go from 1 to 500 something at Weber State Wada School of Business? This Chinese, you don't believe me? The Chinese professor who runs the show, Warren Buffett runs in, bought R.C. Willey's, hijacked the whole school. We're like, fuck you. No way. They want to develop a supply chain slave oligarchy through the state of Utah. Dirty Governor Herbert says, I want Utah to become the supply chain capital of the world. I said, why the fuck you want to turn us into L.A.? Fucking toxic hellhole. The sun's in your eyes. Kev, get better with that left, Jerick. So, get your Damian. Now, this is so irony. The jersey that I wear, that Damian Lillard one that's been autographed by everybody, we're going to hang it on the wall. That's the last Damian Lillard. Now, this is important because it was made in China by slaves, and I threw a fit. I'm still throwing a fit about it, and I'm the one that got them discontinued. You know, I'm like, no. You know, they didn't do anything for Damian when he was here. They do now, I mean, but back then, you know, sell his jerseys. Now, stay with me. So Trump, I used to go to his lectures on 9/11. Arrest the Saudis, arrest the Saudis. I'm like, yes, the Saudis did it. Then the first thing he gets elected, him and his women go to Saudi Arabia and swing the swords and gets in bed with the Saudis. What? So, Fukushima, you don't think he knows? I asked him from here to there. It was on Fox News in Salt Lake City. Hey, Trump, are you going to talk about Fukushima? Are you going to talk about Fukushima? Yes. Did he? Not one time? Now stay with me. So they come out and says we're going to ban this certain textile that's coming into the U.S. for using slave-made goods. Okay? This is today. Why didn't he say that before the election? You know, why? Because, and think about his use of, he used tariffs as a weapon. He didn't broad base them. What? His wife's clothing line? Now, you don't believe me? His daughter's clothing line? I know the activists. I used to stand in Times Square with those activists. Remember when I used to drink the blood in Times Square and say, hey, in the cage? By the way, the person we were trying to get out of the Tiananmen Square activist, the professor, you know, he died of cancer in prison. So I'd stand there and drink my beet juice like blood. Hey, can we put a hot light over your garment? Can we put a hot... By the way, here comes the IT guru at the School of Business. What's up, boss?
Hey, same old stuff. How are you doing?
Still holding down the school?
Yeah. Not a whole lot going on there, but...
Yeah, well... Don't go see the Dalai Lama, she says. You're the only one that's left alive.
Yeah.
Both Davises are gone. You know, Dr.
Yeah.
Bruce, I spoke at his wake, Handley. You know, he donated his brain to the...
Oh, did he?
He was... I'll tell you a story about him. Right towards... This is quite a few years ago. I went in there and Sandy, the secretary, says, Kevin wants to talk to you, Bruce. And he says... He looked at me, he didn't know who I was. And I worked for him for years. Right then I knew, and I talked to his wife, she says, his brain's gone.
Yeah.
So, he ruled with an iron fist over there. So, and then both Davises are gone. Of course, Dr. Cooley was the guru. He got mad cows, you know. So, and then Dr. Lynch was gone. I caught the water's curse. You know they built the nuclear reactor in Japan.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that before because everybody's getting cancer there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a whole different animal over there now. The whole, well, academia is a whole different animal than it was then. Yeah. 20 years ago, it's a whole different thing. They pass out PhDs like toilet paper now.
Pretty much.
I mean, I remember kids through that program when I went to school there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it ends up being like the job titles they give out. We have more directors than people being directed. It's kind of like, it's a worthless thing. It's like flooding your economy with counterfeit bills.
Did you ever work with Dick Alston?
No.
God, he was an ass. But anyway, he ran the economics department. His big thing was grade inflation. I remember freaking one time because I was getting an A in his class, and I looked and I got my report, and I says, I got a B. What are you talking about? I got the class high on the score. No, I knocked everybody down. No A's coming this year, he says. Because he didn't like grade inflation.
Right.
Okay. Well, they were grading on a curve in those days.
Well, yeah, that always depends upon the class. Some did, and maybe they're doing some new material in a different way, and they found out they needed to grade on a curve because the professor didn't even have it completely together.
Well, when Bill Childs rolled in with Buffett and donated all that Berkshire Hathaway stock, it kind of changed the dynamic over there. You know, they took that money. You know, I was the first group that took that group back to Omaha, to Berkshire Hathaway. I went to that gig, and we used to go to that yellow party and, you know, get our picture. There used to be a picture on the wall with him with his arm around me on there. I don't know. Kyle Madsen. Did you ever work with Kyle?
Nope, I never did.
He died young of lung cancer. He was real young. He was no Clyde Cooley. He got thrown into it. You know, so I taught for him for years. Great guy. Really great guy. His wife had it. But, you know, he was overweight. He was a non-smoker. That was in 2005. He went fast. I don't know. The university's still beautiful here.
It is.
There's good things here still.
There are.
We'll get through this COVID bullshit.
I'm glad you used that adjective because it's correct.
Yeah. Yeah. What a nightmare. I saw Damien here the other day. He was on, he's training. I call the event center now the Damian Lillard personal training facility because there's no one in it,
Right.
except him. So I saw him. I said, Damien, you want my autograph? And he laughed. See, that's all anybody knows about Weber State anymore. Lillard. I hope he uses his platform to promote us in a good way.
Yeah, they don't know Fermata anymore.
I used to know, you know, Mata, did you know Dick taught a class at the school of business over there for a while?
Was that early on when he was, or when he came back?
When he came back.
Okay.
Just for one semester.
Uh-huh.
He taught, it was a weird, they created a class so he could teach.
Ah, that's
I took it. I love that guy.
It's funny, I actually own his old house.
You do?
I do.
Man, he's a gem, man.
He bought the house initially when it was new.
Nice.
And he was in there for, I don't know, a year, 6 months, and then went to the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
At that point in time, and then
Went to the Bullets, and then he won the championship with the Bullets. Mm-hmm. I have a hard hat. I used to do the play-by-play for basketball, and I wear my hard hat. It says Wesley Enzel's hard hat crew when they won it. Mata in his class, you said, you know, when we won it in '78, the average NBA player made less than 3 times the average working class American, and they most of them taught school in the off season to make ends meet.
Yep.
You know, a lot of them. Now they make, he would say, 1,800 times, and that was 15 years ago.
Right. Now it's even more.
Oh, it's sick.
It is. It is. There's going to be people who are going to make more, and that's great. Have them do it. But
yeah, it's not their fault.
That level of disparity.
Woo!
Yeah.
That was Clyde Cooley's big thing, was economic injustice, and you know, he taught the ethics program over there. He was against the supply chain oligarchy. But welcome to our world, right?
Yep. It's been that way as long as I've been alive. It'll be that way after I'm dead and gone.
Well, like I said, the wealth disparity of what it's done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
The
last 20
middle
years,
class is completely
wiped
all
out.
but disintegrated. Yeah. Yeah, we're some of the last ones standing with that.
Well, good seeing you, brother.
Yeah, same here.
Keep
Take
walking.
care.
Yeah, I will.
Alrighty.
So there you have it. So this is important because Trump talked tariffs. Trump talked he was going to hammer them down and stop them. Then he got in and he didn't. I didn't vote for him because I sure didn't vote for Hillary. I didn't vote for Biden, sliding with Biden. I voted for Bernie Sanders. Read my lips. Anybody want to think that? I voted for Bernie Sanders 2016 and 2020. I voted for Bernie Sanders because he's an anti-nuclear. Trump betrayed me. He went all in nuclear. And by the way, if he would, why didn't he do this before? Now, the post-ignorance, we sell merchandise, and we're trying, the company that we use on the post-ignorance project, we've background checked, America's background checked, and we've done everything we can. This is the most responsible that we can find in all of America. You know, I've worked with those guys. Those activists went into Trump after he was elected, right after he was elected, to Trump's wife and daughter's factory, where their stuff was being made, and were exposed. Do you know they were arrested and detained? Some of them haven't been heard from since. So what happens when these guys, Obama betrayed us, Bush betrayed us, Bush dumb, Obama dumber, Trump. What happens to these guys when they become president? I don't get it. If Trump would have stuck to his guns and says, yes, the Saudis did 9/11 freaking arrest him, and he didn't, he got in bed with them. That's right, exactly who did it. The Sovereign Wealth Act of, you know, think about Congress unanimously passes. Marie Antoinette Obama vetoes it. Think about that one. Do these guys put a gun to these guys' head when they become president? Or they just think they're in the club? If he would have stuck to it and banned all this freaking, you know, I'm talking an economic thesis, but let's talk about morality. This is Utah. They're supposed to be religious leaders. Huh. Now, I got blackballed from the fucking school, as you know. They could have paid for my cancer. So this is important. My doctor yesterday, I'm an amyloid leukemia survivor given 2 months to live. He told me yesterday, Kevin, they just made the announcement. This was before. He says they're going to announce tomorrow, but you're eligible for some of the very first batch of COVID vax. I says, I don't really feel comfortable about taking that. He says, no, I think you should get it. And I'm like, now remember, this is the guy who saved my life, diagnosed me. Now I'll talk to the LDSE state bone marrow transplant before I do it. I don't know that I want to do it. You know, the China flu came from there. It came from Fukushima, the nuclear disaster. So finally, they come out and they say they ban in this textile for using slaves. They're all using slaves, including your Apple device. I mean, we're all in usually based economy. Huh. Interesting. So, what's with the soup can? It's always been the metaphor for overconsumption. Warhol, Kevin Blanchett, 33rd soup can, cream of chemo bisque. That's Elsa Platz. She'd wear a tomato soup can and bra. Remember what she used to call Marcel Duchamps? Andy Warhol was Marcel Duchamps' bastard child. Mars Duchamp. She don't get no credit for it. She should get credit for it. With your left again, Jerry Carty. He's in Europe. Mata, Phil Johnson, Gene Shue, Gene Vischer, the great Ronna Beglin. Damien. We'll see. I think he's going to win the MVP this year. Let's hope he uses his platform. He's focused on winning. I get it. By the way, this is important. Black Lives Matter was not started by those 3 females. You can lie all you want about it. They know that. The Million Mass March started Black Lives Matter. That's an arguable fact. In 2012, based on the death of a girl named Danielle Willard here in Utah. This, Matthew Stewart, 2012. That's where it started. You know, I'll say this. There's a young man here on this campus who played with Damian Lillard. He played football while he played basketball. His name was Trevon Smith. All-time leading rusher in the history of this athletic department. Beat to death in a jail cell last year in Salt Lake City on the 4th of July. Say his name, Willard. Say his name. Heads up. No nukes. Stand tuned. She's still running. Oh yeah. Don't go see the Dalai Lama, the Chinese oligarch that runs that school business. Take the money and run. Ooh, take the money and run.